We all know that as we look at the threats to the United States, that Afghanistan, of course, was the source of the attack from 9/11, and we appreciate that it is a security environment that must be secured for the United States and for as we go forward. General, you and I actually have had several opportunities to talk about Afghanistan. I was last in Afghanistan as you had taken the leadership position there. And my issue that I raise just about every time is the drug trade. Everyone identifies the drug trade as a source for corruption, funding the Taliban, funding the insurgency, causing instability in government, also suppressing the issue of the transition of their economy to legal production and to a stable economy from which then Afghanistan could grow. General, I've held up several times this chart, which I'm going to show you again. This shows the historical production of poppy in Afghanistan going back to 1991. And what I like about this chart, CRS did this, is that it shows that we actually have, as we were looking at responding with a troop surge, we had an opium production surge. If you fold this chart in half, you can see that from this side you have the historical levels of production, and then you have these 4 years, which are really the last 4 years, that are spikes in opium production. You indicated that really Afghanistan had turned since 2005, and you can see from the chart, actually 2006 is the first year that opium production spiked. It is almost double the historical levels of production, and I know now 2010 there was a reduction as a result of disease among the crops, but I don't think people are projecting that it's going to go back to half again. We all know that the to-do list of what to do with this includes eradication, attacking the labs, attacking the cash, attacking the leaders and the leadership, looking for alternate crops and supply routes. But General, nonetheless, even though that remains the to-do list, I'm not confident that we're being as effective as we need to be, knowing that this goes directly to the heart of really what we're facing. I looked at your written testimony, and General, you do mention in Marja the turnaround there and that it was affected by the narcotics trade, but I don't see in your testimony really the drug trade being identified as a major initiative that we need to attack and address. We look to prior testimony that's this committee has heard. We heard in 2006, General James Jones stated that the Achilles heel of Afghanistan is the narcotics problem. I think the uncontrolled rise of the spread of narcotics, the business that it brings in, the money that it generates is being used to fund the insurgency, the criminal elements, anything to bring chaos and disorder. General, are we doing better, and what do we need to do? This is obviously a time when we try to look to how do we bring resources to bear to what you're undertaking.
Well, thanks. In fact, we are doing quite a bit better. Over the last 6 months, for example, we assess that we have found and destroyed some 3 times or so the weight of the illegal narcotics products of various types and also attacks on labs and so on. The fact is that I think your slide, and we probably should help you update it because, again, it did come down this past year now, and it appears that it's going to come down further this year. But what it shows is that insecurity and Taliban control lead to production of poppy and therefore the flourishing of the illegal narcotics industry, which provides somewhere around at least 1/3 of the funding for the Taliban movement. The other elements coming from illegal activities like kidnapping, extortion, and so forth, and then outside remittances, donations. If you look at slide 12, in fact, in our packet there, you'll see what happens after ISAF and Afghan forces control an area for a period, and we can work through the process of crop substitution, of providing wheat seed and other alternative crops rather than having to resort to the poppy, which in many cases the Taliban forces the people to plant and to harvest because, again, that provides substantial revenue for them. So there has been considerably more emphasis on this over the course of the last 6 months. Again, as the slide shows, NAWA was an area of a very heavy concentration of poppy production, and it has become an area now of virtually no poppy production. And it's not just the blight that has led to a reduction in poppy cultivation, but also literally just to less cultivation as well. So again, I think there's much more attention on this than there has been in the past. It was fortuitous that you visited when you did and showed me the slide that you did when you did, because it indeed helped. It was a catalyst for a pretty substantial examination that we did of this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.